Hey guys, so I have an interesting video for you today. So I live in Kentucky and we are allowed to hunt with high-powered rifles. So something that I have never ever used in my entire life is a slug gun, shotgun. Just because I don't live in one of those Midwestern states that require you to use shotgun, muzzleloader, that sort of thing. So we are out on the range today. As you can tell, I got a shotgun here behind me. So there's, if you're shooting slugs, and the reason I'm doing this is my kids got drawn for a youth hunt in Western Kentucky, which is really flat, and on the WMA that it's at, it's kind of a suburban area. Then they require shotguns only, not even muzzleloaders. So I have a need now. So two options that you have is a rifled slug barrel or a smooth bore shotgun with rifled slugs. Now, a rifled barrel, you can shoot, there's a bug killing me here. You can shoot saboed shotgun, which is more aerodynamic, lighter weight bullets, more like a muzzleloader bullet with a little plastic sleeve around there. I don't have a rifled slug barrel because, like I said, I've never had a need to shoot a slug until now. So what we're going to be doing today is shooting some rifled slugs. Now, these are the slugs that go back to your grandpa. So the slugs that they shot back in the day, and they are still good and prevalent right here. You can buy them off the shelf, and they are cheaper than saboed slugs. So I will show you kind of what we're doing here. So, and a rifled slug is a really big chunk of lead. As you can see on this little box right here, you can see that right there. And it has almost these little flutes in it, almost like rifling. So I'm shooting out of a smooth bore shotgun, just slick bore, no rifling in it whatsoever. And then it has these little flutes that help it spin in the air a little bit, and they will compress down to fit out of a choked barrel if you need to. But we'll talk about the gun here in a second, the choke and all that kind of thing. So I have some Winchester rifled slugs, and then I had an old box of Federal Classic rifled slugs, and I'm going to shoot both of them at 50 yards and just see what kind of grouping. So this is my 870 Express Magnum 20 gauge. It's a pump. You can tell it's a little rough shape. I've turkey hunted with it, squirrel hunted with it a lot. I bought a Remington scope saddle. It's this piece right here that kind of bolts on there. And then this is an old Weaver 3-9. That's a little bit of overkill for a shotgun, but it was just something I had quick. I would actually prefer a red dot because most shots are going to be less than 100 yards. So let's go around to this side. And then here, I actually have a Remington 1100 Target Upland Field model that came with these extended chokes. And this is an improved cylinder. So what I did is I sat down on the bench here. I set me a box up out there and I aimed with the bead. I got it on the box and then I put the scope pretty close. So I'm hoping that'll get me on paper. And we're gonna shoot hopefully just 2-3 shot groups and get this thing sighted in so that it will be very usable 100 yards and less for my kids to hunt with. So let's shoot it and see what we can do. All right, we're gonna start out with the Winchester here. Gonna be our first go-to. Oh yeah. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. All right, I don't have an official measuring stick, but my hand is about 8 inches. So I'm gonna say that's half that. That's right around a 4-inch group at 50 yards, which we're gonna say is probably an 8-inch group at 100. That just makes good sense. First two were really close. And I did do them pretty quick, so the barrel could have got a little warm on that last shot, but not terrible. Definitely minted a deer. Can definitely kill a deer at 50 yards. Let's go back and we will try the Federals and see if they group any better. And we'll go from there. Ooh, not bad. That third one's a tricky one. Okay, so as you saw, that third shot on both groups with the Winchester and the Federal was a little wonky. But the first two, stacking them right in there. So here's the federal group. These two cutting each other almost. And then this one down here, that's more of probably a 6-inch group at 50 yards. So then we got the first two shots and the third one here, first two shots and the third one here. This is a pump shotgun. A lot of barrel contact with the pump, the fore end. So I really, really think that the first two, the barrel's cool enough that it's fine. And then that third one, it just gets hot and it forces a shift, is what I think. So I'm gonna sight this in, and I think it's definitely good enough to kill a deer at 50 yards with either one of those. Of course, I like the Winchester a little better because that third shot did fly a little less off if I have to have fast follow-up shots. Hopefully that not be the case. But I feel very comfortable looking at that the first two shots on a deer were golden. Beyond that, the barrel's gonna get a little warm and it might get a little wonky. So we have to be a little more picky about our shots. Back over to the Winchester again, because I like that grouping a little better. Now we're just gonna try to get it on target, cold bore. I put it in my truck, and I have a little homemade barrel cooler that I made, of course. So the barrel's completely cool. So now I'm just trying to get it sighted in, maybe a touch high at 50 yards so that it'll hit dead on at 100 with a cold bore shot. Looks like we're a slight left still. All right, I gave it a minute. It's completely cool again. Did some adjustments. See where we are. Oh yeah, perfect. About 1.5 inches high at 50. So there you have it. Not too bad. There's my final shot. That's probably 1.5 inches to 2 inches high at 50 yards, which should put me super close at 100 yards. I mean, it practically dead on. Those big heavy slugs, they drop pretty good. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. Not the greatest grouping in the world, but out of a smooth bore barrel, slugs are kind of surprising. Just be mindful of the heat on the barrel. Sight it in cold bore. That way, when you go out hunting, you know that you're ready to go, and you won't have, hopefully not have that flyer, and hopefully you won't need more than 2 shots. Hopefully we won't need more than 2 shots. But I'm pretty comfortable with that. I mean, that's definitely a minute a deer, even the 3-shot group at 50 yards for sure. And I would hope that that's kind of the distance that we would kind of keep it in, 50, 75, 100 max. But I think we'd be okay. So yeah, if you like this video, hit that like button for us. If you like this kind of content, guns, hunting, fishing, everything outdoors, we do that right here on B&C Outdoors. Hit that subscribe button, follow us along. And as always, guys, we appreciate you watching.